Beyond the fact that numbers are at the origin of geometry, spatial movement, and rhythm, temporal movement, ancient Eastern tradition, like most traditional cultures, assigns a qualitative value to each natural number from 1 to 9. In the context of Chinese cosmogonic conception, the influence of numbers is also evident in ancient medical texts. Let's begin by number 1. The Taoist Zhuangzi tells us, "In the great beginning there's nothing. Without anything and without a name, from there emerges the One. There is the One when there are still no forms." The One is the origin of all numbers. From a symbolic perspective, it expresses the potential and origin of all manifestation, the undifferentiated from which ultimately everything proceeds and which to everything returns. Since the nature of One is timeless, its omnipresence expresses the constant relationship of the individual with the living mystery. Thanks to it, the individual remains unified with oneself and in unity with everything that exists. And by providing this cohesion, the One allows the individual to evolve through all its transformations. Therefore, the infinite potential of One would also represent the highest level of being. There have been various ways to express this concept, and the Chinese ideogram, Yi, graphically represents it. The One has also been assimilated to the geometric point, capable of generating the line in space and creating the dimension where anything can take shape. When expanded, the point unfolds a representation of unity in the form of a circle, the Tao, the Way, which already contains within itself the Two. Lao Tzu tells us, "The Tao gives life in one, one gives life in two." So let's see number 2. Pairs are the operators of life, and although they emerge and differentiate, they remain united. This means that the two does not break unity, but allows its use because, thanks to it, the One becomes operational. Symbol of polarity and opposition, Chinese tradition expresses the two, which ideogram is R, in the duality Yin-Yang. Associated with Earth, though not materializing it yet, the two enables existence in the manifested world. Again, the Huainanzi tells us, "Heaven is one, Earth is two." At this stage, I'd like to comment on an apparent contradiction. It's the order of mentioning heaven-earth that it is opposite to that of the yin-yang pair. Yes, of course, heaven is yang and earth is yin. So it's heaven-earth, but instead it's yin-yang. Why is it? There is neither error nor chance in this. It responds to a process of term inversion inherent in the transition from the anterior heaven to the posterior heaven. The anterior heaven represents the poles of manifestation, where heaven is pure act and earth pure potential. In the posterior heaven, yin influences are receptive and yang influences are active. Therefore, just as a building emerges from the base to culminate above where it was destined to reach, in the posterior heaven, yin precedes yang. In fact, these cosmological aspects correspond to 2 degrees of reality. Materialization offers hints of this type of inversion in various fields. For example, at the physical level, in the neck, located between the head, round, because it's related to heaven, and the trunk, square, reflecting earth, the fibers of the spinal cord cross laterally, reversing to connect each cerebral hemisphere with the contralateral hemibody. Let's see another example in the body. If we consider the entire area above the navel as heaven, with earth being the space below the umbilicus, well, at the level of the navel, which is located between the upper body, heaven, and the lower half, earth, the sheaths that envelope the muscles cross to the opposite side. Now, let's go beyond the body. Spiritually, we find another example of this inversion phenomenon in the New Testament, where it is said that the last on earth will be the first in heaven, and vice versa. This inversion also applies to the path back to the transcendental heaven promoted by alchemical techniques in inner work called Neidan, which all start from the external and lower earth to shape the internal and higher heaven. Perhaps now we can better understand chapter 76 of the Tao Te Ching, translated by Jia Fufeng and Jane English. A man is born gentle and weak. At his death he is hard and stiff. Green plants are tender and filled with sap. At their death they are withered and dry. Therefore, the stiff and unbending is the disciple of death. The gentle and yielding is the disciple of life. Thus, an army without flexibility never wins a battle. A tree that is unbending is easily broken. The hard and strong will fall. The soft and weak will overcome.